Oh, thank you. I got this when I was in Guatemala. I love spirals. So this was a hand, they do the forms down there and then they pour it in. So it's kind of a nice spiral. All right, well, let's get started on our seat. So just kind of wiggle yourself around and find a little bit of stretching side to side. Stretching your arms high overhead, maybe stretching out your fingers. And then we'll come back to landing on our seat equally balanced on the right and the left sides, sitting as tall as you can. Maybe you feel like your back is pressed against a wall. And just notice if you feel that pressing against the wall, what that feels like. Maybe your rib cage drops a little bit. Maybe your shoulders slide down your back. Planting your feet evenly on the floor. And maybe your hands find whatever comfortable position on your belly, on your legs that they want. And then we'll take a moment to listen to our breathing. So maybe closing your eyes or finding a soft gaze on the floor. Gently breathing in and gently breathing out. And then bringing one hand over the heart and touching the other hand over the top of the other hand with the heart. And notice if you can tune into your heartbeat. Maybe you feel your body rocking back and forth with the beat, or maybe you just notice your breath being a little bit more prevalent. And then let's take 3 deep breaths into the hands, into the heart. And then bringing the palms together, placing them, wiggling your fingers up and down, pressing all the pads of your fingertips together, maybe pressing your arms more firmly, and then we'll relax the arms, just a soft fingertips pressing against one another. If you'd like to set an intention for class today, maybe there's a word or phrase that comes to mind. And breathing 3 times into your hands, into your heart. And then we'll gently bring the hands up, the fingertips apart. We're going to match the wrists together and kind of scoop the hands. So we're just making this chalice shape, and we're going to slowly draw it up and hold it over the head. And then ever so slowly bringing it back down to the heart. Maybe fingertips press back together. Thumbs press into the heart. And then we'll just gently rock the hands from side to side. And back to center, releasing the arms wide. And finding a side stretch, reaching one arm up to the ceiling and one arm down to the ground. Maybe gaze can either look in the center or up at the top hand. Back through center, arms in a T. And other side. Gaze looks up or out to the side. And back to this T shape. Bringing your hands to the top of your knees. We're going to raise the heels. Come up on and then lower the heels and raise the toes. So back and forth, raise the heels, drop the heels, raise the toes. Back and forth. And then adding your knees. So just starting to lift your heels and roll your knees in circles. And then rolling the other way. We're going to draw circles. You're going to lower your feet down to the ground and then draw circles over your knees with your hands. Both directions. And then bring your hands behind your knees, drawing circles behind. Switching directions. And then while we're at our knees, we're going to come and find this point. So this is my patella here. So I'm going to bring one hand just to the edge of the patella. And then just below the hand here, there's a point on the side below the knee. It's kind of a little indent. I just usually find it by looking at my knees and going about that far down. I think you can still see it in the video there. So this is a nice grounding point, stomach 36, helping to draw the energy out from the knees and down into the earth. And then taking your hands, we're going to flip-flop the hands. So palms down to the point, backs of the hands down to the point. So just flip-flopping it. If there's any stuck or irregular energy in this point, where this is just helping to move the energy, because our hands are like magnets, moving the north and the south side back and forth. And then pausing, holding palms down to stomach 36. And then we're just going to sweep the hands down the feet and coming off, raising arms back high. So let's find a stretch on both sides. So bring your left hand to the chair, reaching the right arm overhead. Coming back, both hands to the edge of the chair, reaching the left arm overhead. And back to center, hands come to your knees. We're going to tuck the chin, round the back, gaze at your belly button. And then open your heart, gaze looks up to the ceiling. So opening your throat, looking up, and then tucking the chin, rounding the back. So just always paying attention to what you can do. Maybe it's just a smaller stretch. Or maybe your body's feeling good today, so you might open a little bit more. Looking up, stretching the throat, and then tucking the chin, rounding the back. A little bit of sitting cat and cow pose. Tucking the chin whenever you're ready, doing a couple more at your own pace. And then coming back to sitting, bringing your hands to the top of your shoulders. And we're going to twist over to one side, maybe over to your left. Back to center, twist over to the right. Center, left. Center, right. And center, raise the arms up to the ceiling, look up, and then turn your palms out, slowly pressing the air back down to the floor. Inhale, arms come up, fingers touch. Exhale, arms slowly come back down. Let's find our seat on the side of the chair. So maybe your right leg and butt cheek are on the chair. We're gonna draw the left leg out to the side. So my foot, you kind of see it on the edge there, is at a 90-degree angle. I'm gonna reach my hand maybe down just to my thigh, square my shoulders to the camera, and then you can draw the right arm out to the side. So you can either stay here or you can play with this arm. You can lift it up if you want. You can reach it over, or you might just stay down to the side, or you might just rainbow it back and forth if that feels good to move it. And then drawing that hand back down to the chair. We're going to reach the left arm forward, so it's parallel to the floor, and we're just going to reach that hand as forward as we can towards the camera, and then come back and sit up tall. So just practicing shifting your weight forward and coming back. Forward and coming back. So as you do this, feel your spine get longer as you reach and come back. This time, bringing your hand back to your thigh. We're going to sweep that leg back to the center and switch over to the other side. So this time, sitting on your left leg on the edge of your chair, finding your grounded right foot to the floor, squaring your shoulders to the front of the room, kind of leveling them off a little bit, and then we'll bring the right hand to the thigh and start to lean over. So this might be as far as you go today, and this might be a really good stretch. If you want, you can also add the arm out to the side, or maybe overhead, or maybe stretching all the way over to the wall. Or maybe you want to rainbow your arm back and forth. So each side might be totally different. So just doing and listening what feels good to you in this moment. And then let's sweep that left hand back down to the chair. Draw your right hand forward. Right arm is straight, and we're gonna reach that arm forward. Maybe your gaze looks down to the floor, or maybe your big left toe, and then come back to sitting tall. So stretching and leaning forward and coming back. So let's do that 2 more times. And last time. Coming back, sitting tall, right hand to your thigh, drawing your leg forward. Coming back to your seated position, we'll bring the hands to the knees. And sit up tall, take a nice deep breath in through the nose. And sigh out the mouth. 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale, sigh. Last time. And let's find some torso circles. So bringing your rib cage forward and to the sides and the back, making big circles. And then rolling in the other direction. Notice if your whole torso is moving or if you're just isolating your rib cage. And then come back to center. Let's add a twist. So arms out wide in a T. We're going to twist open to the right wall, dropping your left hand to your knee. Maybe your back hand comes to the back of your chair. Sitting up tall and bringing your gaze over your heart space, looking to the right. Breathing here 3 times. Releasing, arms back to a T, coming back through center, and we'll twist over to the left. Again, right hand to the outside of the knee, holding the back of the chair. Releasing your arms, coming back through center, bringing your hands, palms to match in the center, and then pushing them immediately back out, stretch wide, hands together. So this one can be like you're pulling an accordion apart. So you can pretend you've got something you're holding on to and really stretching it wide, and then you have to push, really push it back together to get close. So let's do that 2 or 3 more times. And hands come back together, resting at your heart. I'm just feeling a little bit more lightness. So see if you can breathe like you're breathing, like there's a feather. Your breath is just like a feather, gently coming in and gently coming out. So if your breath is like a feather, see if you can touch the pads of your fingertips like they're as soft as a feather, maybe like they're cradling a little baby bird, but just feeling that extra lightness and softness in your hands. And then starting to notice the rest of your body. Notice if there's tension anywhere, and start to see if you can breathe, continue that breath like a feather, and breathe and soften all the bits in your body. And if that doesn't happen for you, maybe you can just start to imagine what that might feel like or might look like. And then with the fingertips together, we're going to come into, we're going to open the face chakra. Our face is our connection, a large connection to the world, because a lot of our senses are here, right? Our eyes, nose, our taste, our smell, our ears. And so as we absorb things from the environment, we can choose how closed off or how open we can be. And so there's a chakra, if you know anything about chakras, they're just different energy wheels in the body. And so with this energy wheel at the face, sometimes it closes up and gets smaller, and sometimes it can open. And we have total control over that. And so as you just strengthen the chakra in your face, you'll be able to move easier between if you decide to have a poker face in that moment or for the day, or if you want to be as open and free as you wish. So this exercise just helps give you choices, and choices are typically give us a little bit more freedom. So let's bring we're going to bring our first fingers to our eyebrows, and we're going to bring our thumbs together at the indentation between your mouth and your nose. And we're just going to pause here and breathe for 3 breaths. And then let's bring the thumbs down to the notch in the chin. Breathing here for 3 breaths. And then you're going to bring your palms back together in front of your face. So we're going to slowly rise your hands, slowly coming up above your head. And this is where we're going to come back to that chalice that we made earlier at the beginning of class, where your wrists can be touching and just opening your palms up to the sky. So this is a metaphor for being receptive and just allowing your arms and your hands to open. So let's pause and take 3 more breaths here. And then as you slowly draw your hands back down, you're placing your hands back together, bringing them down to your heart. And then we're going to bring and attach one hand to the other hand over the heart, taking 3 more breaths here. Just allowing all of that openness to come into your body now. And then we'll sweep the hands off the belly and down off the thighs. So that's a good little exercise. You're welcome to do it anytime to continue to open the chakra in your face. All right, let's move to some crossover patterns. So let's bring our hands back to our shoulders. We're going to lift the opposite knee and tap the opposite elbow. So if this is too much for you, you can always keep your knees on the ground and do this with your hands coming down to your knees. But if you want a little bit more challenge, certainly bend the knees and tap elbow to knee, back and forth. So let's do 6 more. And then when you're done, pause, opening your elbows, stretching them out to the sides. Taking some deep breaths in and out. And then releasing the hands, reaching them high to the ceiling. Palms turn out, stretching them back down to the floor. And wiggling your hands, shaking them out. Let's come up to standing and do a little bit of standing today. So let's turn I'm going to turn my chair to the side so you can see. But to start, we're just going to bring our toes out to the side and then bring them back to center and flatten your foot. So tap your toes and bring them back in. So you can either do this holding the chair, or if you want a little bit more, you can just release the chair, bring your hands to your hips. And if you don't need to come back with your foot to the floor, you can also just keep your toes off the ground as you're reaching. Let me come back a little bit more. See you can almost, let me move the video just a little bit so you can see my feet better. All right, so we're working one side here, and now let's bring the foot to the back. So you might reach out with your big toe behind you and then place your foot back down to the floor. You might continue to hold the back of the chair for balance, or again, you might just do this without the chair. So just noticing where you are today. And if you can turn the big toe so that it's pointing towards the ground, that is good for your hips and alignment of your leg. So just do that maybe 2 more times and come back. And then let's turn, and we're going to hold one hand to the chair. We're going to keep that same side. So we're going to I'm working I'll just say the left side to you so we can be, all right, so we're going to reach over and continue to stretch this whole side body. So now, because we're standing, you can really press that foot into the floor, press your hips away and reach up and over with your arm. So maybe you can hold it here. Maybe you're just down here with a little bit of a stretch like this. And just notice if you want to keep moving your arm, or maybe just hold it in one place for a little bit deeper stretch. And then slowly, wherever you are, slowly come back out, rolling that same shoulder in circles. If you're rolling it backwards, maybe bring it forwards. And then release the chair, open both palms forward so you're tall in mountain pose. Equally gripping your toes on the ground, standing tall. And just notice your right side and notice your left side. And then let's release and we'll move over to the other side. So I'm gonna just move my chair over here so you can see me on this side. So again, you can start with your toes, bringing your toe out to the side, and then bringing your foot back down to the floor. So maybe finding 10 or 15 leg raises out to the side. And you can also, without the chair if you want, if you're ready for that, and just lift your toes and tap. So just go to your edge, feeling the stretch, but not too much. And then when you're ready, we'll switch and bring those toes behind you, lifting the toes and then dropping them back to meet the other foot. Lifting back, bringing it back to match the other foot. Or you can do the same thing where you're just lifting the toes up and lowering them down. Pointing with the big toe. Maybe 4 or 5 more taps. And then as you're ready, turning yourself back next to the chair with your other hand on the top of the chair. We're gonna reach the opposite arm up and overhead, pushing your hips out to the wall. And maybe you stay here, maybe you just have a slight stretch in the hip. Reaching arm up and over. Breathe 2 more times. And then as you're ready, slowly coming back out of that, drawing your shoulder in circles. And then rolling the shoulder forwards in circles. And then I'm just going to move my chair a little bit off to the side. If you still need it for balance, we're going to bring our feet a little bit wider. And your toes will be at a 45-degree angle. So we're just going to bend our knees and bring our hands to the top of the knees and then come back up to standing and lift your arms overhead. So if you want, you can still use the chair here as you come up and down, or you can push it a little bit further away. So we're going to strengthen the legs and really stretch our arms and hands up high. So coming down for horse pose. And if you want to make this a little bit harder, you can come up onto your tiptoes as you reach high. Lower the heels and then come back down to horse. Or just keep it nice and easy as you flow from one to the other. If you want, you can start to make this a little bit of a twist. Maybe come down a couple times, only facing to the left. And a couple of times coming down, looking to the right. Arms facing the right. And then back to center. Reaching arms high, palms touch, and drawing your hands down the center line to your heart. Let's bring your feet together here and we'll move into our unscrambling pose. So crossing one leg over the other, one arm over the other, turning your palms so they face each other, and then tucking your arms underneath. And if you just want to cross your arms or hug yourself. However, it's basically we're just making ourselves like a pretzel. But if you want to try again, you can cross your arms, match your palms, and loop your hands to rest at your upper chest. So resting here, standing up tall, maybe squeezing your legs, your thighs together, pressing into your feet to ground. And then let's release the arms, release the legs, and we'll switch and do the other side. So crossing one leg over the other, crossing other arm over the other, turning your wrists so palms match, clasping the hands, and then tucking your arms under. Again, you can cross your arms or just twist your arms however you want. The idea is to twist all up like a pretzel. And we'll pause here, allowing the energies to sync up. And then releasing the arms, releasing the legs. Again, bringing all fingertips together. We're going to bring the thumbs up to the forehead in between the eyebrows. Breathing deeply. And then bringing the fingertips to the forehead. Pulling your fingertips across over your ears, behind your ears, and then coming down the top of your head, over the sides, opening up the back, the top of your head, maybe coming back and doing it one more time. And then you can hang your hands off your shoulders. On your next exhale, draw the hands forward, cross the hands at the heart. And then drag the hands down the belly and off the hips. Coming back to tap on your cheekbones with your fingertips. Coming down, tapping the upper chest. Tapping the center. Tapping the rib cage under the armpits. And then let's do crossovers with across the shoulder. So start hand to shoulder, cross to the hip, other hand to the shoulder, and across to the hip. Back and forth, side to side. And then bringing your hands to your low back. We're gonna flip-flop the hands. And then hold the low back. And we're gonna move into our belt flow. So let's take 2 hands over to one hip, maybe the right hip, and we're gonna go 3 times across. So right to left, release, right to left, release. And then this time come to the hip and we're gonna squeeze the leg like a tube of toothpaste all the way down to the foot. Come back up to that same right hip, across the belly, squeeze down the leg. Last time, this side, hands to the right hip, across the belly, down and off the foot. Other side. All right, hands to the left hip, across 3 times. So 1, 2, 3, and 3 times all the way down to the foot. So across to the hip, down the leg, off the foot. Back to the left hip, across to the hip, down the leg, off the foot. And last time, left hip, across to the right hip, down the leg, and off the foot. All right, inhale, stretching your arms high to the sky. We're gonna bend one elbow, pulling down, and then the other. So just like you're reaching high and pulling down. This is a nice, great stretch, side to side, and also if you cross over, you're doing some crossovers. And then reaching both hands high to the ceiling and slowly palms out, slowly pressing the air back down to the floor, and hands slowly come back to your thighs. Taking a moment, hands on your thighs, grounding your feet, breathing in and out 3 times. Release the hands. And let's find our chairs, and we'll come back to our chairs. So let's take our left leg and cross our legs, one over the other. Or you can draw that knee a little bit higher up to your chest. So as you do this, I like to use the leverage of my torso. So I'm sitting up taller and my shoulders are opening my heart space and my shoulders are going down as I pull on my knee, drawing it closer. You can also just do this, you know, keeping your leg rested on your knee. And then you can either stay here or we're gonna open to the left. So maybe your right hand holds the top of your knee. Left hand opens behind you towards the back wall and gaze looks over to the left. So engaging your belly, twisting here, holding the leverage of your knee with the leverage of your hand behind you. And then come back through center, sit up tall, square your shoulders. And then I'll release the knee down to the floor. Heel toe your feet up and down. And then we'll switch sides. Crossing right knee over the left. So you might stay here and twist, or if you can raise that knee a little bit higher. Using the strength in your arms to hold the knee, pulling on the knee, pushing the knee into the hands. Again, you can stay here in the center or switch your hands. So I'm gonna bring your left hand to the top of the knee and twist and open to the right. So twisting and opening. Heart moves to the right, pulling the belly button in, allowing the rib cage to soften and twist. And then draw that right hand back to the center, sit up tall. And release that knee back down to the floor. Finding a little bit of neck stretches here. So let's just start by tucking the chin into the chest. Pausing and taking 3 breaths here. Slowly bringing your head back to center. Let's tip the head over to the left. Feeling that nice stretch in the scalenes and the MCS. Coming back through center, pausing, and then tipping the head over to the right. Gentle stretch to the left. And then as you're ready, slowly come back to center. This time, making small circles with your head if that's comfortable for you. Maybe 5 circles. They could be mini circles. They could be larger circles. And then 5 circles the other direction. And then coming back to center. Let's rub our hands together. And we'll do our little calming exercise before moving into our quiet closing meditation. So if you're wearing glasses, maybe sometimes it's nice to just put them on your head or put them on the side table. So that way you can really bring the heated palms to your eyes and the hands, the fingers to the top of the forehead. So just gently cradling your face, relaxing. And then bringing your fingertips across the forehead. We're going to pause at the temples. So breathing in and out 3 times here, connecting to these points that govern our fight, flight, or freeze. So as we bring attention to them, we're going to help balance the energy here. Bringing your fingertips behind your ears, coming down the back of your neck, holding on to the tops of your shoulders. Pulling down your hands on the shoulders, crossing the hands at the heart. Pausing here for 3 more breaths. And then allowing your hands to come down the front body, making their way back down to your lap. So from here, we'll take about 5 minutes or so, just finding our quiet meditation spot. So if you want to lean back in your chair, You're welcome to dim your lights. And just allowing the body to rest, finding a quiet space, coming back to your breathing, and allowing the body to move in and move out as your breath rises and falls. Maybe your eyes are closed, or maybe your eyes are looking gently at the floor, allowing all the movements and breathing to integrate into your system. And starting to deepen your breathing. Bring your awareness back to your feet on the floor, back to your hands in your lap. Maybe move your ankles, maybe move your wrists. And then let's inhale, stretching the arms high overhead. And exhale, hands come down to your sides. Inhale, arms stretch high. This time, palms touch and draw the hands down to the heart. So if you set an intention at the beginning of class, you're welcome to come back to it now, noticing how it feels, how it settles into your body, into your bones. And taking 3 more breaths, breathing into your hands, into your hearts. Thank you all for sharing your wonderful energy with me today. It's great to have you here. Namaste.